Hello everyone, my name is Blue Raven 666 and today I'm tackling a question that I've been seeing a lot of people ask in the comment section of my videos, and that is, who is God in the Hazbin Hotel universe? What does he do? What is he like? And what kind of role could he play in the show? I do intend on making this a quick theory, as there isn't a lot of information provided by VivziePop that is out there that I know of, but there might be a few possibilities that I might be able to throw out there just to get started. In this universe, with the inclusion of Helluva Boss, we have heaven, earth, and hell. On top of that, we have prominent figures like Lilith and Lucifer. And I believe Viv has also mentioned that Adam and Cain might be introduced later on in episodes. So if we have these prominent characters from stories that circulate within religions that are going to be appearing in the show, along with the statement from Viv that she plans on exploring heaven a bit in the series, and showing us what these realms are like in this universe, then it's by no stretch of the imagination that there could be some sort of god that is overseeing all of this, right? On top of that, we do have a statement from Millie in Helluva Boss Murder Family, where she tells Moxie that guilty and innocent isn't IMP's business. This means that there's gotta be some kind of higher power that does decide who's guilty and innocent, an entity that passes judgment on souls crossing over to the afterlife, and decides whether a person gets to go to heaven or if they get sent to hell. Now, finding out who God is by name can get a little bit messy depending on the religion. In some faiths, when referring to God, they're actually referring to Jesus Christ. In others, when referring to God, they're referring to Jesus Christ's Father, who is known to some by the name Yahweh. Since getting into the technicalities of these details can get really messy really quick, let's say, for simplicity's sake, that the god in Hazbin Hotel is the Grand Creator. I know, but Hazbin Hotel isn't based off of the Bible. I know, but for simplicity's sake, we'll say that he is. Let there be light. It was good. Garden of Eden. Don't eat the magic fruit. Blah, blah, blah. You get the idea. Depending on who you ask, God can be viewed as being a very good being or a very bad being. For example, Christians tend to view God as a very good, all-loving entity and paint him in a very positive light. That is one perspective. However, back in my days of dabbling with spiritual Satanism, I was given an image of God that was painted in a very negative light, and it ties with the fall of Lucifer and why he was cast out of heaven. And to this day, it still makes so much sense to me. The story goes that Lucifer saw that God was essentially sabotaging humankind and dooming a very large portion of humans to be sent to hell by giving them free will, but still expecting them to fully obey him to a fault. Lucifer felt that humans should spend their lives embracing their free will and be allowed to indulge of all of life's pleasures, so long as they understood and took responsibility for their actions. You get drunk or stoned, what you do in that impaired state is your fault. Have premarital sex without protection, don't be surprised if someone winds up pregnant or with an STD. The basic concept is that you make conscious choices knowing the potential consequences that could result, and you act upon these decisions fully aware of what you're doing. It isn't God or God's plan or God acting in mysterious ways. It's all based on the actions of other people and whether they choose to do something smart or something stupid. In short, every human being is a fully intelligent, independent being with the power to control the course of their lives and the power to impact the lives of others. And God doesn't want humanity to realize this, because if it does, then the control will be completely out of his hands. The belief here is that Lucifer rebelled because he couldn't stand seeing humanity being manipulated by the invisible strings of God, and he hated that the fear of God's wrath was influencing their decisions when they had free will and should be allowed to choose their own paths in life. Lucifer and the angels that aligned himself with him were cast out in an attempt by God to avoid the risk of losing that control. From this perspective, God, Jesus, and the angels are not the good guys. And for that matter, Lucifer doesn't do much of anything. He never wanted to be worshipped, or viewed as a god, or rule a kingdom. What Lucifer wanted was for people to embrace their free will without being held back. Because by his definition, that's what it means to lead a full, free, and fulfilling life. To be happy. In my time exploring spiritual Satanism, the one phrase that I was told that has stuck with me is that Lucifer does not need nor want anyone to worship him as a god. He only wants people to embrace their independence and intelligence. One of those things tends to lack in today's society, though, not gonna lie. Going back to the discussion of God in the Hazbin Hotel universe, though, there's been some speculation going on for a while that heaven is not a good place, and isn't at all what Charlie expects it to be. There have been theories circulating that Lucifer doesn't support Charlie's hotel because he knows what heaven is like. He used to be there. He knows what's to be expected, and he knows what God himself is like. Perhaps he knows that Charlie will be disappointed if and when she realizes that this fun, happy place she imagined heaven to be isn't like that at all. After all, heaven is where the exterminators come from. And it's where Adina comes from. And those are two facts that I really do not trust. I know this video is kind of all over the place so far, so I'm going to try to lay out the general possibilities here and wrap things up. What kind of profile can we at least begin to make for God at this point? For sure, we can say that he's the creator of the universe. Whether or not he's truly good or bad remains to be seen. There's been some speculation that God isn't actually the one in control anymore, and that he is either a prisoner up in heaven or dead. And it's the exterminators that are running things up there. I find this to be highly unlikely, as I'm sure the exterminators would take every opportunity to come down to hell and kill off demons if they were left unchecked. It's also possible that God really doesn't give a fuck. If you're a quote-unquote good person and live up to his standards, whoop-de-doo, you go to heaven. If you fall short of those standards, too bad, so sad, you go to hell, one-way ticket, non-negotiable. And this is likely to be the case if this could wind up falling back to what I said in episode 28 of this series regarding my proposed theory about a system that judges people based on the 7 deadly sins and the 7 heavenly virtues. Overall, while I'm sure there are plenty of possible scenarios that we could drudge up with the possibilities that span a wide variety of different religions and cultures, there's just not a lot of information that's out there. Viv is likely withholding a lot of that information as it could play a major role in the plot of the show. And important details like that, stuff that crosses over into full-on spoiler territory, is information that she tends to be very tight-lipped about. So, for the time being at least, it seems we'll just have to wait and see how this all plays out in the show. That'll be all for this video, you guys. Thank you for watching. Before I go, I would just like to remind you guys that changes to my channel memberships have been officially finalized. The single level for $2.99 is now live, and I don't foresee any changes happening to it anytime soon. For those who were interested in the Overlord memberships for a free pass onto my Discord server, links are going to be available in video descriptions from here on out. Just remember that we do have an age limit of 13 years and up. Anyways, my name is BlueRaven666, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye!